Kenneth Cukier, data editor of The Economist. Welcome, Ken.
Great. Thank you very much. What an honor it is to be here and to speak about these issues that we all care so deeply about. So I was asked to speak about big data and growth, but of course I'm a great optimist. I'm a data maximalist. I love big data. I think it's going to transform humanity, but the wise people at Vodafone asked if I would do it and talk about the negatives. So I'm playing a role that I normally don't play, but I'm happy to play to sharpen the debate for us all right now. I'm going to start with a story, and the story is of computers and of people. Okay? If I wanted to find Renee James on Google, and I typed her name, but I made a typo, and I put 2 S's in her last name, not just simply 1, Google would identify there was a problem. Now, who at Google knew? Who typed it in to correct it? Well, of course, nobody at Google did that. It's big data. It's a machine learning algorithm that simply crunches the numbers and identifies that there's more instantiations of the correct spelling than with the incorrect spelling, and so it says you probably want this and not another one. And behind it, of course, we talked about it earlier today in Michael Osborne's presentation, is machine learning. It's going everywhere. Sinead says that, paraphrasing Mark Andreessen, that software is not eating the world, software is eating our jobs. Probably true. Machine learning is what's behind that, that's eating our jobs. Search engines, speech recognition, self-driving cars, we've heard about that. We can think about it when the stakes are even higher. Talk about diagnosing cancer. Okay? Same principle, same technique as a search engine. When researchers recently at Stanford took lots of biopsies, cell samples that were cancerous or highly cancerous, and showed it to a machine learning algorithm in computer vision, the computer was indeed able to identify which was highly cancerous and which wasn't. Specifically, the algorithm could identify the 12 telltale signs that best predict that a particular biopsy, a cell sample, was cancerous. The problem? The medical literature only knew 9 of them. 3 of those things, 3 of those traits were ones that humans didn't know to look for, right? However, the machine could see it, even though it was naked to the human eye. The machine could see the pattern. So when we think about big data and its effects, we see the positives. Now let's think about some of the negatives, some of the risks. And there's 4 that I'd like to bring up today. About jobs, privacy, something called propensity, and something even stranger that I'll call dataism. All right, let's start with jobs. Michael Osborne has done a very nice job of explaining how it is that computers and automation can actually undermine a lot of work, and in particular, lower skilled work. I want to think about the implications of that, okay? We know that when in the first instantiation of the Industrial Revolution, the effects were profound. It gave rise not only to lots of strikes and lots of dislocations of labor, entirely new political philosophies and economic movements were created based on that. I think we're walking in the same direction in which we are going to have a whole series of problems on the political realm because of the problems from big data on the economic realm. And although we all can ascribe to Sinead McManus's very nice view that we can live in a freelance economy, that might be the right answer for someone who's 27. But when the person becomes 37 and has a child and has to get a mortgage, maybe full-time work, where it gives you the reliability and certainty over the years, could be a solution, could be an answer for lots of people. The second issue is privacy, right? Privacy has been a problem in a small data universe. It will be a problem in a big data world as well. The problem probably will be different and probably at a bigger scale because the data is so much more complex and the data is so much more abundant. And the ways that our privacy will be undermined will also be more complex and more myriad, okay? But I don't believe we're ever going to solve the problem of privacy. In fact, I think every generation will just simply have to answer it for their own time, knowing that, as Michelle said, the world changes. The third is propensity, the idea that we will have algorithms that will be predicting what we're likely to do and may actually penalize us for our propensity, punished for a prediction, like in the movie Minority Report, in which People were sent to prison for what was a prediction of what their likely behavior would be in the future. That's what big data can do. Although in that instance, it wasn't big data, but it was precognitive mutants in a pool. So let's think about what this means. Although I think there's a great danger of this in lots of areas, from banking and medical insurance and admissions to university, so too, we can actually imagine that here there's actually a very interesting upside. When you think about how we might be solving the Ebola crisis, it's probably going to be through, in part, big data. And the reason why is because of mobile phone records. The call data record actually gives a very good indication, although it's only a proxy, it's only a prediction, of where people are going, particularly if that mobile phone records are updated in real time and made accessible to researchers and epidemiologists. And here, sadly, it's not happening. It's not happening because of a lack of leadership, but it's also not happening because I don't think enough momentum has been built to push in that direction. And so I support Vodafone's efforts in there, and the GSMA has been doing lots of extraordinary work, and we hope that they can still do that work to free up those records. The last problem is the issue of dataism. Now, it's a strange word. If you think about it, the 20th century was the era of the isms, the battle of the isms. We had communism, capitalism, fascism. Okay? And if you think about it, the 21st century is going to be data to which we place on an altar and pray before. And I want to say that as a great optimist of big data, I do believe we need to embrace it. But I also do believe that we need to understand its limitations. The data is not let's put it this way. The data is like an alchemy. It's a black box, and we need to be able to see inside the black box. Just like a map is not territory, the data is only a simulacrum of reality, not the real thing. So if we can embrace big data, we should also understand its limitations and maintain our wisdom and our judgment and our sense of common sense in front of data. Finally, how do we solve some of these risks that I've laid out? I think it's with our values. I think our human values haven't changed, even though the technology is moving ahead so quickly. With that, I do profess a great optimism in terms of how things go forward. Thank you very much.